Today, family and friends gathered to pay their final respects to the Mississippi teen found dead after a 4th of July boating trip. Reverend Al Sharpton officiated Nolan Wells' funeral, and attorney Ben Crump made a call to action as this investigation into his death continues. I'm going to bring in CBS News correspondent Skyler Henry, who's been following this case from the very beginning. Skyler, can you tell us more about this call to action from attorney Ben Crump?
Sure, Liz. This is a repeated sentiment, essentially, that we've heard from Attorney Crump for the last several weeks, and that is for anyone who may have seen or heard anything that happened on Horn Island, where Nolan Wells was last seen on that July 4th weekend, to come forward and say something. Bring forth a picture, videos, if you remember any sort of conversations that Nolan may have been having at the time, or if you remember seeing him before you left Horn Island, please to give them a call. It's something that we've heard not only from Attorney Crump and his team, but also from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, who is the lead investigative agency in this case. But as of now, 2 weeks into this to the day, Liz, there has been very little information, at least concrete information, that has been shared publicly. And I think that is what is so concerning, at least according to Attorney Crump and those who we heard from during today's funeral service. Take a listen to what Crump had to say.
We're in a ferocious search for the truth. And we know there were hundreds of people on Horn Island. Many of them have contacted us saying that they believe that they need to tell the family their truths directly. We don't want too much time to go by when memories get foggy, when people start to feel pressure. They heard a law enforcement person say no foul play, so they don't feel like if they say anything, it's going to be attacked. No. Tell us. We want to evaluate every aspect to be able to give Christine and Elmore answers as to why Nolan Wells is dead and not with us.
And as you can imagine, both Christine and Elmore Wansley, Nolan's parents, emotional during today's funeral service. As of now, Liz, this is really a case that appears to be in a holding pattern on several fronts right now. There are still awaiting the results of an independent autopsy that is being conducted by Attorney Crump and his team. Nolan's body a couple of weeks ago was flown to Washington, D.C. for an examination. Those findings are yet to be released. We heard from Crump today, who said that that should actually be released, quote unquote, very soon. We're also waiting to hear and see back the state-conducted autopsy findings as well, also conducted several weeks ago. They acknowledged at the time that they are waiting for the full medical examiner's report, which includes toxicology findings, in order to that to be fully released. And so I think that is something that could be revelatory in terms of how this case moves forward. In addition to that, last week, we heard from Attorney Crump and the family, who said that the local district attorney in the area said that they have agreed to mutually screen Nolan's cell phone. That has been something that could potentially be a key piece of evidence in this case. Nolan's phone went back with the friends that were on that boat back to the mainland, while Nolan did not. That is something that his parents said simply wouldn't happen. Then we heard from Christine during several interviews, as they were speaking to several media outlets, suggest that something may have happened to some of the messages on the phone, either on Snapchat or via text message. And so I think that could potentially be the next big shoe to drop, so to speak, in terms of figuring out what happened to Nolan Wells on that July 4th weekend.
Yeah, so many unanswered questions in this really horrible, tragic case. Skyler Henry, thanks so much for following it for us.